Welcome to the Brilliant Life Blueprint Show. Discover the secrets to designing your brilliant life without sacrificing your family or business, giving up your health, or spending thousands of hours and dollars. Your host, Joy Wilder, is a certified business coach, serial entrepreneur, formal location pastor, and mom to 4. She's here to encourage you with tangible and tactile tools, templates, and formulas for everything from building and scaling a business to 10 timesing your energy, micro-planning, positive parenting, building an intimate marriage, and being strategically selfish. You can have it all, and we're here to help you discover how.
Hey guys, what's up? Real quick before we jump on, I wanted to encourage you with a thought that my business coach has been sharing with me, and that is that procrastination is the assassination of your destination. Let me share that with you again. Procrastination is the assassination of your destination. So part of living your brilliant life is taking action, being a do-it-now person. So I just want to encourage you to be a person of action, to not procrastinate, and to just start small. Do you know if every day you take, even if it's like as small as just doing some small Google search, but if you take small incremental steps, think about how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Okay, that's really true. Then you are eventually going to reach that goal, and you just want to keep up that momentum. So that's my little encouragement for you today, to reach your goals, your dreams, to walk out your God-given calling, that procrastination is the assassination of your destination. And I just want to remind you that within the first 90 days of the year, within Q1, people usually achieve more than they do the whole rest of the year. So just capitalize on that momentum and take action, be an action taker. Know that I believe in you big time. And guys, I wanted to share with you that the founder of Brilliant Life brand and Brilliant Life business and micro-planning systems, where I help women design insanely successful businesses around a life they love without sacrificing their family or themselves. Isn't that awesome? And so I am offering right now, over the next few weeks until January 23rd, a complimentary strategy call where I can help answer your number one question to getting it all done, or to designing the life or the business of your dreams, really any questions that you have. And then starting in February, I'm going to be starting off my next group coaching courses for both Brilliant Life Business and Brilliant Life Micro Planning Blueprint. And I would love for you to be a part. So if you want to book a complimentary strategy call, which is valued at $475, you can go to https://brilliantlife.as.me/, and I'll go ahead and link that in the notes below. But I would love to just totally no pressure, but I love doing these strategies calls and seeing how I can help women really live their brilliant life. Like what blocks can we work through and map out in this 45-minute call. So I would love to do that with you. And for today, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode. I am so excited to have a super special guest on today. Our guest today is an online influencer who empowers women to live a life on purpose and by their own design through tools, tips, and tricks to help them love their homes, stop making excuses, and even work from home doing the things they love. She throws down booty-kicking advice on her weekly podcast, Grit, and on her YouTube channel and vlog, and shows up every day on Instagram to make sure that these women feel like they are not alone. So my new friend, Jessica Stansberry, welcome to the show. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you so much.
I have been, cyber stalking and binge watching your podcast for, goodness, I don't even know now. Probably like over about a year now. So, guys, I know you are going to just super benefit from what Jessica has to share with us today. So Jessica, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your family, and just you have kids. Tell us about you.
Sure. So I live in a teeny, teeny, tiny little town in North Carolina. Because I always start off with that because people are going to be like, where's that accent from?
Yeah.
Uh, so I live in a teeny, teeny, tiny town. Like I'm 3 hours from the airport, 2 hours from a Target, like very small, very secluded. And I married my high school sweetheart. And we have 2 boys. Yeah, we have 2 boys. They're 9 and 6. And we just recently, so my husband has always been into like farming and that kind of life. He was raised on a farm, and we live in kind of like a farm country. And we last year, so almost a year ago exactly at the time of this recording, we purchased about 30 acres and built our dream home. So yeah, I do that. I live here and in my dream house and raise my children, and just traded my 4Runner, like cool mom car for a minivan. I feel like it's like a new stage in my life for whatever reason. But,
Have you ever seen this is an old ad, like many years ago, the Toyota, I think it was Toyota Sienna, oh gosh, it's like this rap video commercial for the
I
minivan.
do remember that.
These
yes.
2 like parents. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
That's so me. I totally bought a Toyota Sienna. Like
yes.
I have never had one. We have to keep some kind of like all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive because it snows here.
Yeah.
And Toyota's the only one that makes an all-wheel drive, and they're kind of costly. And so I just had never like done that. But a couple years ago, my business was able to like afford me the ability to buy like my dream car. And I was like, okay,
love that.
I'm going to buy a 4Runner. And it was not a good mom car. It's not. Yeah, it is a great car. Like I miss it already. But as far as a mom car, not so much.
No. Yeah. Yeah. I have talked about this in some of my past episodes, especially I did an episode about a dream board, but for years I had a Toyota Sienna on our dream board because we had my husband's dream vehicle, which was a Toyota like pickup truck.
Yeah.
For almost 10 years, we were a 1 vehicle family and 3 kids. And I would just like, dream of the days that I could click a button and a door would open and my kids could climb in by themselves. And, and then we got that van about 2 years ago, and I love it. Well, welcome to the club, Jessica. You have arrived.
Thank you.
So, well, that's awesome. Well, so Jessica, tell us a little bit about what you do for your business and how long have you been doing online business? And tell us about that.
Sure. So I teach mostly small business owners. Like most of my audience are side hustlers or just beginning. It kind of just depends on where they fall into the category at. But I teach entrepreneurs how to run a better business, essentially. So I teach courses for them to do that. And I tend to focus and niche myself in the content marketing space. So I teach a lot about podcasting, YouTube, blogging, that kind of thing. And I love it. It's actually really funny because I'm in a weird spot with my business right now where I need to figure out like what that next big thing I'm launching is. And but I'm also at a really great spot because like 80% of the income I bring in right now comes in through advertising, like ads placed on my YouTube videos and affiliates and passive income. So it's a really, honestly, like I feel very blessed by it. It's a really amazing place to be because I can take that time to think like, okay, what do I want to do next? Where do I want this to go? Without like being financially hurt by it, Yeah. And so that's a lot of what I teach too, is like how to use affiliates to make money and how to do all of that stuff. But I started as a web designer. So I started my business to stay home with my son in 2010. And so my degree is in advertising with a minor in marketing. So I have that kind of background. And I had a graphic design background and I love graphic design. And so it was just like a natural progression to quit to stay at home with him, but also we needed a little money. So
Yeah.
I started doing some like graphic design on the side, and that morphed into, I found mommy blogs, because in 2010, 2011, that was like everything. Like that was, like everybody had.
Yes, it was. Yeah, for real. Yeah.
And I found them and I loved them. So I started my own, which led to me designing my own, which led to other people being like, how did you design such a pretty blog?
Wow.
Which went to website design, which then turned into, that's kind of the spot I was in when I really started getting more visible online. I started doing YouTube videos or Facebook Lives. Periscope was a thing
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah. I was on that bandwagon.
Totally. It was like 2014, 2015. All of this stuff was kind of coming to the surface. And I decided, like, I'm a web designer, but I'm going to be active on these platforms. And I would just talk about like web design, or I'd talk about like business tips or whatever. And from there, I realized that most of the questions I was getting asked were from people who couldn't afford a web designer, but could afford to buy, $100 course or something like that to teach them the thing they needed to know, which was usually some kind of tech-based solution. Like, how do I do my email list, or how do I build a website by myself, or how do I do whatever? So that's when I started teaching courses, and they've morphed and changed niches from there based on where my audience kind of leads me. But that's the natural progression.
Yeah. Okay. So what an incredible story. And guys, I just wanted to highlight something that Jessica said, that now 80% of her income comes in through passive income, through affiliates and ads, and how that is giving you, Jessica, the freedom to, like, instead of feeling, I mean, I know that I can relate to this, and I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate, like feeling like you just have to make choices because you have to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And like, you have been able by design to set up a life where you have a little bit of buffer space where you can sit back and be like, no, I'm going to actually like make choices where I feel called to do this or serve these people or do this thing. And you don't feel like strangled to just make a decision just to like pay the bills. So I love that. And that was, so in 2010, 10 years ago is when you started doing just like graphic design. And over the last 10 years, you've morphed into this place. So that's fantastic. And then Jessica, do you do coaching or group coaching, or all of your courses? For those of you listening, there's a term called like evergreen courses, where you just kind of put them on, and people, there's almost like self-study courses.
So I do coaching. So I love to coach. It's probably one of my favorite things to business coach, but I also am very protective of my time, and I'm very protective of, like you say, I have purposefully built the business that I have, and I had to work a lot of hours and do a lot of hustle to get it to where it is now. But now I'm so used to having the freedom to like do what I want to, that I don't like being tied down. So with client calls and things like that, I have to kind of, tread really lightly, because I don't want my whole calendar to be taken over by that. So I do business coaching. I usually only open it up every once in a while. So the last time I opened coaching was over 2 years ago, until this past November. I did open some door. I took on 4 coaching clients, and I will not take on more than that. And I probably, when they are done, will take another year break from coaching. So it's just one of those things where like, I love to help people. I really do. And I feel like I'm fairly good at like seeing someone's business and where they want to go with it and helping them map that, road out. But also I'm very protective of my time. So I'm like really strict about it.
I just think that's great for listeners to hear, kind of as they're thinking about, maybe they don't even know that maybe this could be an option for them to start an online business, but there's these different forms and like the pros and the cons of, because you've been in it for a while. So I love that. Okay. So Jessica, tell us a little bit
financially, how did you make that transition from you were doing essentially like a service-based business, you were doing graphic design, and then that led to web design, which is, a traditional business, but you were doing it from home, into making these courses online, because you don't immediately start making money from typically you don't, there's like some lag period of some sort when you start an online business. So how did you financially juggle that?
Yeah. So I'm always super candid with this, so I can tell you nearly to the dollar how I did it. So at the time I was booking on average, about 2 web clients a month. So, and that's on average. So I was probably taking on, the way I usually did it was I would take on like 5 or 6, but they would last me for 3 months, and I would get them all done and then take on 5 or 6 more. So, I was making like $6,000 a month, but we had gotten used to that. Like, we needed to maintain that. There was no way I could dip below that. Okay. And so what happened was I launched my first course and it completely flopped. Like, nobody bought it. And so let me just say that if I would have been like, oh, I'm not doing web design anymore because this course is going to make me rich, I would have been like in what creek without a paddle. Right. Like, I would have been like up the creek. So basically what I did was I realized that the missing component of me being able to sell this course or sell courses was that I just did not have a big enough audience who wanted it yet. So I took the time, I booked clients, and essentially what I did was I booked them with a contract. So I'm going to book 6 clients or whatever for a 12-week contract that's eventually, at the end of that 12 weeks, they'll have their web design. And they all were paying me payments. So I knew I had X amount of dollars coming in for 3 months. Okay. So I started on day one of month 1 in conjunction with designing these websites, which took a lot of time. I also started really like diving into growing my audience. So I was super active in Facebook groups. I was super active with, my YouTube channel had just started then too. I was super active with my podcast and just really getting as many eyeballs on me as possible and gaining people on my email list. That was like my most important mission in life. Yes. And what was really cool is I had planned it out to where I started doing this on month 1. And now, by the way, let me say that I had already started doing this. It wasn't like I just decided one day I was going to grow my email list and it did. Yes, right. I had already been doing it for years, just putting out the content, but I decided to get really serious about it on this particular time where I knew I had clients making me payments for 3 months or whatever. Okay. So I started growing my email list, priming that audience to know that I was getting ready to do something really big that was going to help them. And this course was going to help them build their own website. So I was targeting people who were realizing they wanted to start a business, but weren't totally sure how to do it. And then also like knew they needed a website, but were not going to pay $3,000 for one or whatever. Yeah, right. So I was specifically targeting them. I was doing webinars. I was doing joint ventures. I was working a lot of hours, to be honest, to like really get in front of the right people while also maintaining the money that was sustaining our family.
It sounds like a lot of hours. I'm like,
yes.
You're sleeping just... Okay.
Totally.
Yes.
Like, I'll be honest. And even like at the end of it, my husband was like, I don't know the last time like I saw you come to bed at the right time. And I'm like, I know. Right. Which I used to have really bad time management skills. I don't anymore. Again, I'm very protective with my time now, but,
Yep.
At the time, it's exactly what I needed to do. I fully believe that sometimes we have to hustle and sometimes we have leisure time. Yeah. So I'm okay with that, essentially I was doing all of these things. I was completely booked up with like all these webinars and blah, blah, blah. By the way, I only had childcare 2 days a week. So it was like, it was very like falling into all the like fringe hours essentially.
And how old were your kids? Sorry to interrupt, but how old were your kids at this time?
So my oldest was in kindergarten and my youngest was 2.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So
okay.
I had my oldest in school full time, but my youngest, I only had childcare twice a week. So, It was a lot. It really was. I was constantly packing my schedule full. However, what happened was started building this audience, knew that I had income for 3 months. And then I decided to launch my course like the middle of the month on that third month where I knew there was no more income coming unless I booked more clients or sold this course. And I know myself. So I personally, if I see that I'm losing money or I see that something is like not working, I will hustle and make it up. So I knew that giving myself kind of like a time limit was what I needed. So what ended up happening was I launched the course and it did great. It did enough in sales to completely it made $6,000. Like it basically made the exact amount that I had been used to making. And I was like, oh, I can do this. However, that was just 1 month, So I'm like, oh my gosh. So what I then did was I took on less web design clients. I had a whole roster of people who'd applied to work for me or work with me. And I was saying like, hang tight. I'm going to be opening up spots soon. I wasn't telling them I wasn't. I was just kind of waiting and gauging to see what I needed to do. So once I launched that course and I was like, okay, this will work, but it's 1 month and I need this money to be coming all the time. I started taking on less clients and started launching more courses. And I went through a period of about, I guess it was like 9 months where I launched a course a month, which is insane.
Oh my goodness. Guys, like, for those of you listening.
Don't do that.
Okay. Yeah. That's really crazy.
Don't do that. It was bananas. But it was also like, again, I will hustle to make the money. So it's not, I think that's exactly what needed to happen. But again, crazy. I would never tell somebody to do that. So essentially I just started taking less and less clients when I started seeing what my average number was to sell per month of these courses and continued to grow my audience and eventually just stopped taking on clients. And so it continued to be quite a bit of a hustle there for a while. It's so funny because people consider courses or online passive income as passive. And oh my gosh, I was probably working harder to make that money than that $6,000 from those web design clients. So it really, but it's a more fitting business to my personality and my needs. So it was worth it to me for a little while to do that, to where now I can create funnels that one person watches my YouTube video and now they come through my emails and purchase my courses. And I'm not having to do a lot of the hustling because I've created the content and built out a library where now people are kind of finding me on their own and going through the process that I've set up.
Yeah. And I think that's great for people to, I mean, your story is just so encouraging because, you don't have to jump into it gung-ho, but I had another woman, I don't know if you're familiar with Allison Hardy. She, so I interviewed her this fall and she has a kind of similar story in that she lost her dream job when she was 6 months pregnant and she is like you. So guys, Jessica is I would say you would say you're the sole income provider, right?
Yeah, so I'm definitely the primary. Yeah.
The primary. Yeah. Yes, that's what I mean. Yes. So Jessica's husband is a pastor, as is Allison. So both of them are the primary income provider. And so Allison had 3 months to buckle down and go at it hard. So you can do that like you did, or you can take a little bit of a slower path. But eventually, whatever pace you choose for your journey, you do get to the point where it does start becoming more legitimately passive income. But I do remember at one point having a revelation and talking to my coach and me this doesn't really feel like passive income right now.
Right. Yeah.
She's well, at the beginning, it is not passive income, but you do get to a point if you do the work, that it really does, that it is becoming more passive. So I love that.
Yeah. It's a process. I mean, that was back in 2016 and we're, in 2020. So it's been 4 years of okay, that's kind of when I made that jump. It was 2016 was kind of the year I made the transition. And so it's been a lot of figuring out what works for me for a lot of years. And actually, like I mentioned earlier, I'm in this weird spot where if I was the type of person to get comfortable, I could just get comfortable and make the amount of money I'm making now forever.
Yes.
I don't doubt at all that I could. I don't have to work that many hours to sustain it. It's not like super hard for me to do because I did all that work in the beginning. Like it's but I'm not the type of person who doesn't want to keep hitting goals and
right.
goals and do other things, do bigger things, maybe start second businesses, those kind of things.
Right.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now is like, okay, what does that look like? Where do I want this to go? Do I want to start a different business? Do I want to let this one kind of run on autopilot while still maintaining it, obviously, but and then start another one? Like, where do I want to go? And I thankfully have that freedom to do that, which is great.
Yeah.
Wasn't that so great? So Jessica's interview actually ran so long that I am breaking it up into 2 parts. So tune in next Tuesday to see part 2, where we tackle being a multi-passionate entrepreneur, the benefits of an online business, and whether you have to be miserable or if you can actually be happy in your life. So I can't wait to connect with you next Tuesday. Hey there, friend. I hope that really helped. And I wanted to let you know that I have this really cool gift that I would love to give you. It's called the Top 11 Apps That Will Change Your Life. And as a busy mom of 4, business owner, I created this. These are my top 11 apps. You can go to joywilder.com. It's on my homepage. And you can get this app list. And then there's a little video tutorial if you want to watch the video that I do, tell you all about the apps, or there's this nice glossy PDF that you can download and it'll tell you all about it. So, hey, head over to joywilder.com. Get your own copy of Top 11 Apps That Will Change Your Life. While you're there, you can sign up for that Do Less challenge and have an awesome day. Cheering you on big time.